no use. Regroup, everyone, on me.
Over here!
Separate and search him down.
Let's regroup. One of us has got to spot this guy. You're just wasting Split up. Time we gotta find this bastard.
Okay, let's regroup and start again. Let's split up and look for him.
Oh my, this is gonna be fun. Yes, indeed. You can't hide. I know this city like the back of my hand. Guys, let's regroup. Safety in numbers.
Regroup, everybody! We'll cover more ground if we split up and search.
Just come out! Why are you ruining your life even more?
We'll find him faster if we split up.
Okay, let's regroup. This isn't working. Give up and we can work something out!
Fan out, guys.
Judge will be more lenient if you come out. The longer you hide, the worse you're making it for yourself.
Inmates today eat guys like you for dinner.
Split up. We'll have a better chance.
I'm gonna find you. You're gonna have an uncomfortable night.
You're gonna spend the rest of your life in jail if you don't come out now!
Regroup. We'll
I'm
find
gonna
him
enjoy
faster if we
interrogating
split up.
you. If I find you, you're gonna have a nasty accident.
Come on, let's regroup. Let's try splitting up. You might as well come out now. There's nowhere left to run, asshole. I smell the scent of guilt.
How many counts do you want on your arrest?
Okay, let's split up. We'll get him. Hey, show yourself. Let's talk, huh?
I cannot be slow. I have places to go. I have a plane to get to.
Поехали, долбоёб! Всё,
Okay, guys,
качай,
let's split up
вперед,
and
вперед!
fan out. Okay, let's rethink this. Gather round.
Okay, we're gonna split up.
Поехали, ради бога!
This is no use. Regroup, everyone, on me.
Get over here!
Everyone separate and search him down.
Let's stop pretending. Just come on out.
Давай уже!
Okay, let's regroup and start again.
Yes, indeed.
You can't hide. I know this city like the back of my hand.
Let's split up and look for them. Regroup, everybody. We'll cover more ground if we split up and search.
Are you crazy?
Why are you ruining your life even more?
Ну теперь тебе что, всех цветов радуги, что ли? Give up and we can work something out. У тебя ж полно туфель.
Очнись. Are you in space with Gagarin?
Okay, let's regroup. This isn't working.
We'll find them faster if we split up.
Эй, какой к черту порядок! Посмотрите на этот хаос!
Fan out, guys. Fan out.
You come out.
The longer you hide, the worse you're making it for yourself.
Inmates today eat guys like you for dinner.
Split up. We'll have a better chance.
I'm gonna find you. You're gonna have an uncomfortable night.
Faster! This city does not sleep, yes? You're gonna
Regroup.
spend the rest
We'll
of
find
your
them
life
faster
in
if
jail
we
if you
split
don't
up.
come out now.
I'm gonna enjoy interrogating you.
Excuse me!
Come on, let's regroup.
If I find you, you're gonna have a nasty accident.
Come on, we must be moving.
Естественно! Куда тебе торопиться?
Нет, я опаздываю!
Now or a longer sentence later.
Quit jerking me around, asshole! Okay, regroup! Got a better chance if we split up. I smell the
How many counts do you want on your arrest?
Поехали
Split
уже.
up. Look at him. Hey, show yourself. Let's talk, huh?
Hello, you're through to the Liberty City.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Get over here!
This is no use. Regroup, everyone. On me. Everyone just separate and search him down.
Hello, you're through to the Liberty City.
Hello, this is the FDLC. Where do you need assistance?
Cove Beach.
We'll get a fire truck out to you right away. Hold tight and please be advised that the FDLC takes no responsibility for damage to property.
Yes, indeed!
Let's split up and look for him. Regroup, everybody.
You can't hide! I know this city like the back of my
We'll
hand!
cover more ground if we split up and search.
Hello, you're through to...
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Stand a chance! That thing's going up any second now! The judge will be more lenient if you come.
Fan out, guys. Fan out.
Hello,
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Inmates today eat guys like you for dinner.
hello,
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Spend the rest of your life in jail if you don't come out now.
I'm gonna enjoy interrogating
hello,
you.
you're...
Hello, this is the FDLC. Where do you need assistance?
Cove Beach.
We'll get a fire truck out to you right away. Hold tight and please be advised that the FDLC takes no responsibility for damage to property.
Give up and we can work something out.
Let's try splitting up.
Hello,
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Spread out, guys.
How many counts do you want on your arrest?
Split up and fan out. Okay, let's rethink this. Gather around.
We'll find them faster if we split up.
Let's regroup. One of us has got to spot this guy.
I smell the stink of
Split up. We'll have a better chance.
Hey, show yourself. Let's talk, huh?
Okay, we're gonna split up. Let's stop pretending. Just come on out.
Everyone,
Get over
separate
here.
and search him down.
You're just wasting my time now. Come on out.
This is no use. Regroup, everyone. On me.
Okay, let's regroup and start again. low ground if we split up and search.
Oh my, this is gonna be fun. Yes, indeed.
Just come out! Why are you ruining your life even more?
Split up. We gotta find this bastard. Guys, let's regroup. Safety in numbers. Two choices. Give yourself up or go home in a body bag.
We'll find him fast if we split up.
You might as well come out now.
let's regroup.
There's nowhere left to run, asshole.
Come out, punk. You don't stand a chance.
The judge will be more lenient if you come out.
y'all sperm banks for aliens, a flock of sheep. You all need to wake up. Aliens is among us.
Fan out, guys. Fan out.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Of beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
The longer you hide, the worse you're making it for yourself.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Of beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
I'm gonna enjoy interrogating you.
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City Emergency Services. Please use your touch-tone keypad to select which specific service you require. Press 1 for police, press 2 for paramedics, press 3 for the fire department.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Of beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
If I
Let's try
find you,
splitting
you're
up.
gonna have a nasty accident.
Okay, let's split up. We'll get him.
Hello. You're through.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Of beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
We'll find him faster if we split up. Let's regroup. One of us has got to spot this
I
guy.
smell the stink of guilt.
Split up. We'll have a better chance.
Hey, show yourself. Let's talk, huh?
Okay, we're gonna split up.
Everyone, we should separate and search him down.
Get over here! You're just wasting my time now. Come on out.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Spread out, guys.
You can't hide. I know this city like the back of my hand.
Okay, let's regroup here.
Let's split up.
Hello. You're through to...
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
You're gonna have an uncomfortable night. Fan out, guys. Fan out.
It's the end of the line. You want to do this the hard way or the easy way?
Okay, let's regroup and start again. Let's split up and look for them. You can deal with me now or a longer sentence later. We'll cover more ground if we
Come
split up
on,
and search
let's
choices.
regroup. Give yourself up or go home in a body bag. We'll cover more ground if we split up.
Guys like you for dinner. Fast if we split up. Regroup.
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City Emergency...
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Just try splitting up. Why are you ruining your life even more? Give up.
Okay,
we can work
regroup,
something out.
regroup. We got a better chance if we split up.
If I find you, you're gonna have a nasty accident.
You're gonna spend the rest of your life in jail if you don't come out now.
Okay, guys, let's split up and fan out. Okay, let's retake this. Gather round.
How many counts do you want on your arrest?
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City Emergency...
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Let's stop pretending. Just come on out.
Everyone,
Get over here.
search him down.
I smell the stink of guilt.
Split up. We'll have a better chance. Regroup. The longer you hide, the worse you're making it for yourself. Okay, let's split up. He's around here somewhere. You're just wasting my time now. Come on out.
Everyone, on me.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Oh, my, this is gonna be fun. Yes, indeed. Split up. We gotta find this bastard. Okay, let's regroup. You might as well come out now. There's nowhere left to run, asshole. Church will be more lenient if you come out. Guys, let's regroup. Safety in numbers. You can't hide.
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City Emergency Service...
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Fan out.
It's the end of the line. You want to do this the hard way or the easy way?
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City Emergency Services. Please use your touch-tone keypad to select which specific service you require. Press 1 for police, press 2 for...
Go home in a body bag.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Hello, you're through to the Liberty City Emergency Services. Please.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Just come out!
Okay, let's split
Why
up.
are you
We'll
ruining
get
your
him.
life even more?
Quit jerking me around, asshole.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Hey, show yourself. Let's talk, huh?
Regroup, everybody!
Okay, we're gonna split up. If I find you, you're gonna have a nasty accident. Everyone should separate and search it down.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
This is no use. Regroup, everyone, on me.
Just come on out. Okay, that's the longer you hide, the worse you're making it for yourself.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Group here.
The judge will be more lenient if you come out. Regroup. Oh my, this is gonna be fun. Yes, indeed. You can't hide.
That's okay, guys. Let's split up and fan out. Come out, punk. You don't stand a chance.
Hello. You're
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Come on, let's regroup.
I'm gonna enjoy interrogating you. Fan out, guys. Fan out.
There's nowhere left to run, asshole! It's the end of the line. You want to do this the hard way or the easy way?
We'll find him
Let's
fast!
regroup. One of us has got to spot this guy. Let's try splitting up. Two choices. Give yourself up or go home with a body bag.
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Cove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Okay, let's split up. We'll get him. Quit jerking me around, asshole. We got a better chance if we split up.
We'll find him faster if we split up. Just come out. Why are you ruining your life even more?
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City Emergency Services.
Hello, you're through to the MS paramedics. In which area is your medical emergency?
Cove Beach.
We'll send a basically trained paramedic as soon as we can, sir. Don't move, and please have your insurance documentation or credit card ready.
How many counts do you want on your arrest? Okay, let's regroup and start again.
Split up.
I smell
We'll have a better chance.
guilt.
Let's stop pretending. Just come on.
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City Emergency Services. Please use your touch-tone key.
Hello, you're through to the MS paramedics. In which area is your medical emergency?
Cove Beach.
We'll send a basically trained paramedic as soon as we can, sir. Don't move, and please have your insurance documentation or credit card ready.
The judge will be more lenient if you come out.
Hello. You're through to...
Hello, this is the FDLC. Where do you need assistance?
Of beach.
We'll get a fire truck out to you right away. Hold tight and please be advised that the FDLC takes no responsibility for damage to property.
You're just wasting my time now. Come on out.
Let's regroup. One of us has got to spot this guy.
Two choices. Give yourself up or go home in a body bag.
There's nowhere left to run, asshole.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Of beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
You can deal with me now or a longer sentence later.
We'll find him faster if we split up.
Inmates today eat guys like you for dinner.
Hello.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Of beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Fan out, guys. Fan
Give
out.
up and we can work something out.
Okay, we're gonna split up.
Get over here. Why are you ruining
Hello. You're through to the Liberty City Emergency Services. Please use your touch-tone keypad to select which specific service you require.
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Of beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
How many counts do you want on your arrest?
I had him. I freaking had him.
Let's
Give it up now. Now try to get to a room with a view.
Okay, let's regroup here. Spread out, guys.
Oh, my, this is gonna be fun. Yes, indeed.
Hello, you're through to the...
Hello, this is the LCPD. Where would you like us to send an officer?
Hove Beach.
An LCPD peacekeeper will be there as soon as possible, sir.
Come on, hands up. I know this city like the back of my hand.
When I get you, gonna get personal.
Guys, let's regroup. Safety in numbers. Let's try splitting up.
I will eat your ass. I will eat my neighbors. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower is being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years since I got food and stuff. But I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up. And you know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will. I'm combat model, optimum self-sufficiency, probably the leader. The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up my neighbor, how I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his ass up? I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your ass.
John, I did some digging into this. This is a serious story, and I did find that Alex Jones was in fact in band when he was in high school. However, he is a bit rusty with the trombone these days.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, you know, I started off my day having a crazy person yell at me through a video camera that he's going to eat my ass over and over and over. Now I got that in my head. Thanks a lot for that. That was, like, I understand this is why people watch him. It's for content like that, so he's going to do it.
I've been shadow banned. I've been called a liar. I've been silenced on virtually every platform created by man. My life has been special report for the great folks over at Bug Club everybody that has joined over at jonescrowder.com. I want to thank you all for your support because you're helping build an infrastructure so that we can do more reporting on the ground, more special events, and also more deep dive type investigations like we did last week, that 2.5-hour special report on the guy that wants to run all our lives. He's doing a pretty good job of it, running our lives on the ground, and that's obviously Bill Gates. So that was our first maiden voyage, and these shows are going to vary. And I also intend in the near future not just do one report a week, but actually expand it out. Sometimes it'll just be me at my desk talking about the world, or sometimes it'll be, when I'm out with my family and see something develop. Some stuff will be 3 hours long, some stuff will be 20 minutes long, but I intend to start getting 3 or 4 reports out a week very, very soon. Most of those will be short. So today I basically just want to talk about somewhat of a deep dive and some incredible clips on depopulation that a lot of people probably haven't seen from different leaders in the world for and against depopulation, and then really understand that an active operation of depopulation is happening right now, and that a lot of people in the West think, well, that's just the third world we're depopulating. Wink, wink, there's too many people, but they're going to depopulate us as well while slowly killing us and sucking the money out of us. So I'm going to be talking about that and playing some really powerful clips here in a few minutes. But first, I want to tackle something that really disgusts me, and that's the situation in Maui. We now know exactly what happened there, and it is deliberate governmental corporate collusion. It's what I call administrative mass murder, and you have a 12-mile exclusion zone still. FEMA is saying don't take photos. They're telling emergency workers don't show any of the damage. They want to just come in and bulldoze it all away, and we know exactly why they want to bulldoze it away. And it's not to cover up evidence of space lasers, directed energy weapons. That is a red herring. And look, people are allowed to have that view. People are allowed to talk about that. Directed energy weapons are a real thing. I've been talking about them for 29 years on air. There have been some cases where it looks like directed energy weapons have been used. Greg Reese of InfoWars has reported on that as well. But when we have them red-handed, absolutely red-handed, setting up the atmosphere and the conditions for what happened there, and even local media and the locals get this, even the Associated Press is reporting it. And I'm going to walk through what really happened and play a few clips from local newscasts and other things. So, they had a red flag fire warning on all the Hawaiian Islands, and one of the driest is Maui. That's an old whaling town there in Lahaina, and it's the seat of where the royal family was going back thousands of years ago. So it's been a cultural center for the Hawaiians, but it's also been a big blue-collar area going back to when it was one of the main whaling stations in the Pacific Ocean, okay? And so it's the second most expensive land in the world in Lahaina. It's tens of thousands of dollars per square inch. The only other more expensive land is the city of London within London, the financial district, where you're talking about, a 1 acre lot can be $100 million. This is some of the most expensive land in the world, so you have the motive. Then you have Bill Gates and the globalists and a big consortium with the state trying to come in the last few years and failing last year to do a, quote, redevelopment and buy up the land for the people and build high-rises and hotels and things there. The land is estimated to be worth over $5 billion, as it was, over $20 billion if it was wiped clean by developers. That's what developers have said, is they can make $20+ billion off this. So there's your motive. Now let's talk about the reality. They asked up until the fires started and other fires were coming, let us have the water in the reservoirs, and the head of the water district, who's part of the Obama Foundation, who works directly with them, refused, and is on record refusing. This is all confirmed.
The commission is responsible, per our authorizing statute, to protect and manage all water resources in the state. One Water is like looking at it from a holistic system perspective, and that's not any different than how Hawaiians traditionally managed water. In essence, Native Hawaiians treated water as one of the earthly manifestations of a god and a kua. And so I think where it shifted to today, or over time, is that we've become used to looking at water as like something which we use, and not necessarily something that we revere as that thing that gives us life, right? I mean, to me, it's a shift in value set. If we can start to really look at how we as humans in an island can reconnect to that traditional value set. So really my motto is always like, let water connect us and not divide us. Like we can share it, but it requires true conversations about equity.
Then they left the power on to the power lines. And I've seen some of the directed energy weapon people and some of the videos on Twitter that we've put out or others have put out saying, how dare you lie and say that the power wasn't cut, it was cut at 5 p.m. They admit they never cut the power. The power company admits they did. And we have countless videos of the power lines getting blown down into grass and trees and starting fires.
See how long this pole's gonna hang. As you can see over here, all these power lines have snapped now. We were looking at them earlier. I was just telling the boys on the fence line that these were gonna snap, and sure enough, they did. Yeah, so this is gnarly.
Oh, this is live right across the street from my house. Freaking power line just went down. Tried my little water hose, but fuck. Yeah, it's going, I don't know, hopefully they get him out.
And then the power backs up and the transformers explode. That's the explosion. So those transformers were like hundreds of bombs all along the town, right in the direction the wind's blowing. It blows over the power lines into the trees and brush. It's the driest in over a decade in Maui. Red flag alert. It hits. The fires start. We have video of the fire starting. High winds blow in, the transformers start blowing up, then it hits all those old, mainly wooden houses. I'd say the average house there's probably over 100 years old, okay? So it's a very quaint town because you'll have a really nice place next to a historic church, next to a whole bunch of little, what looks like almost a shanty town. So the people didn't want to sell, they value their culture and their way of life, mainly Native Hawaiians, and now it's been wiped out. Now it gets even worse. They didn't just refuse the water. They didn't just not cut the trees. When BlackRock bought it 5 years ago, they said, we're going to stop upkeeping this evil, unenvironmental technology. That's in all the press releases. It's admitted. They've bragged about it. So you cut the water. You don't let them have the water when it's the worst fire stuff in a decade. As 70-mile-an-hour winds come in from a dry hurricane, you don't cut the trees, you leave the power on, and then you don't turn the emergency sirens on. You send the kids home from school. Most of their parents are still at work. And then these massive fires start to burn the whole town out in about an hour and a half. And here's the coup de grace. Did space lasers fire at the police chief's brain and at the mayor and at the emergency managers and make them have the police barricade Front Street, the only main way out that divides up into four of the roads that was completely open and clean, no fire that direction. There's video of it and eyewitnesses, and now the Associated Press has a huge investigative report confirming everything. It sounds like I wrote it, but they're telling the truth.
Good luck. Look at this. Holy sh**. This is a nightmare. I don't know where he's going. Probably to block our street. They're gonna barbecue all these people down in Lahaina. We're all trapped down in here. They're blocking off all exits, and everyone is just stuck, going in a circle in a fire pit.
drive down the bypass for a minute and just see how far we go and just see what happens. And then we can just come back up and turn around. Because it's just an open highway at this point.
Then all of a sudden they said, everybody's off, get off this highway, go down this way, down into town. Then they started blocking everything off there. And
so you got corralled onto Front Street. You started on the Honopilani Highway.
Yes.
And you ended up on Front Street.
Yes, couldn't go anywhere. They just said, go north, go north, go north. And then when we got on Front Street, embers were coming over the buildings and landing on our vehicles. And we're all in a line trying to get to the end of Front Street to go north, like they told us to, not knowing that the police blocked off the end of Front Street so nobody could move. All of a sudden, nobody could move anywhere. So all I did was try to inch my way over to another yard and drive up through a sidewalk, come back around, and then I went. The cops were moving around one exit, so I ended up getting up on the highway, even though they tried to direct me another way, and then I hightailed it to home.
So you basically had to climb up on sidewalks and go against what the cops were telling you could do. You had to break traffic laws, essentially.
Basically.
I want to be deadly serious here. I've not been this excited ever! Yeah, Mud Club, baby! Wow! Know that you're part of history, bucking the system. Everybody needs to tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, hey, you want a second American Revolution? You don't like what's happening? Well, this is the group, this is the organization that is the best there is. And hey, you tune into my show, you're going to get hardcore analysis and over-the-horizon information on what the globalists are planning next. That's all I do is study it. It's hardcore because our business is prosperity and freedom and justice and Americana 1776 worldwide. I've been shadow banned. I've been called a liar. I've been silenced on virtually every platform created by man. My life has been threatened repeatedly. They've tried to destroy me, but I've survived. That's why I decided to join Mud Club. Be part of this revolutionary act. You want resistance? You want somebody to stand up? You want somebody to fight? Go now to the Mud Club. Take action because the globalists want war. They will destroy us. Well, guess what? We didn't start this fight. We don't want it. But if you want to fight, you better believe you've got one. Alex Jones, everybody.
Remember, none of this is possible without you. Join the fight and sign up for Mug Club today at louderwithkreider.com/mugclub. Gain access to an unrivaled catalog of unapologetic and entertaining creators, including the Hodge Twins, Nick DiPaolo, Brian Callen, and of course, Alex Jones. All that and everything you see today is entirely funded by viewers like you. For $89 annually, join the fight at louderwithkreider.com/mugclub today.
And if you want to get 1 month free and specifically support InfoWars, sign up at Mug Club at jonescrowder.com. That's jonescrowder.com.
Every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words, we...
This is a call to the world. This is a call to the world. This is an awakening, and this is an opportunity for us to bring so much awareness to the situation that whoever they are, whatever force is behind this, and I don't know, but I think the more awareness that we can bring, this is our opportunity to stop it and to create an awakening around the planet to help, because this is an international issue. I've got people calling me from all these different countries, scientists. This is a colossal problem with the environment and what's going to happen with all these chemicals. How do we protect these people from what they're being exposed to right now? Normal protocols are not being met. So I don't know who it is. I don't know how it happened. But what I do know is with awareness and with spreading the message that we can possibly stop this plan, and it can be the beginning of the end for the enemy, and it can be the beginning of a new awakening for our world. And I believe this is the siren call. This is a call to action for communities of people in the world, not just our country, not just Hawaii, but for everybody to start paying attention and waking up, which you've been trying to do for a long time. I believe this is the chance, and we do it for the children. We do it for the children. If you won't do it for the children, if you won't do it for Maui, what we call paradise, if you won't step up and defend this, you're not going to defend it when it comes to Kansas. You're not going to defend it when it comes to some small town and some rural place that no one cares about. If you won't step up and help Maui, if you won't do it for this place, guess what? They're going to take everything. There's a complete authoritarian control happening here, and more government officials are piling in every single day, and we're crying out to the American public, we're crying out to the world to take action. This is not armchair quarterback time. It's not just guys like you that have been telling the truth for years. It's time for people to mobilize and do something. This is a call to action. And it's time to move the needle on the media, because the media is not getting access. So all we have left is we the people. All we have left is platforms and sharing, and you being a digital warrior, going all night long until your fingers bleed. Do things. I think this is a call to action. This isn't just something you watch from afar and go, oh, how interesting. You do something, whatever it is. Say a prayer and ask God, what are you to do? Because the battle is here. It's now. It's happening. And we need to mobilize. We can pick on Maui. It's this little place in the middle of nowhere. Guess what? This is United States soil. And if you're a patriot, it's time to do whatever it is that God is calling and asking you to do.
I've not been this excited ever! Oh, yeah, Mug Club, baby! Wow!
The replatforming begins now. Join Mug Club and get 1 month free with promo code Alex at jonescrowder.com.
It's been more than 2 weeks, 20 days or so, since the tragic, historic fires hit Maui, Hawaii, and Lahaina. A place I've been many, many times for whale watching and luau's, you name it. One of the best places in my favorite place to visit in the 50 states, Hawaii. And when we first saw eyewitnesses like Fish and others, who I looked up in her town fixtures, were very credible, saying that they blocked off the roads, I was blown away. I believed him, but I had to prove it. Then the locals came forward and said, no, the same thing happened to us. And then countless videos of people that went ahead and broke through the blockade that survived. Thousands others didn't. But the big question is, where are the children? Now, Fish called it a coordinated event or choreographed destruction. I called it administrative mass murder. We don't blame the police themselves. They were compartmentalized and didn't know that both ends had been blocked. They didn't know the fire was coming in. Once they did, basically too late, they tried to let the folks through. Some got out. So for the balance of the hour, Eric West joins us. He's a well-known real estate agent and businessman in the area, very respected. He's also a citizen journalist, and he has been showing the black tarps they're putting up around the town, the 12-mile exclusion zone. He was manhandled and thrown out yesterday. We've got that video coming up, but we know they left almost all the power on. They did turn off one system. Now, BlackRock that owns it's denying it, but it's all confirmed. We see the power lines falling, the fires, countless videos off people's Ring doorbells. We see them not delivering them the water, denying it that day during the fires, admitting they did it with the local water district that is headed up by an Obama Foundation member who's big in Hawaii, obviously. And then we learn about the blockade and the sirens not being turned on. It's simply staggering. So I've got a lot of videos to play here, and we're going to be getting to them, of this citizen being thrown out of his own town yesterday in a live stream of the cover-up. And the big question is, who gave the orders? Who coordinated this symphony of destruction, or as Fish called it, coordinated destruction? Because you could have, as Fish said and as Eric West said, one thing fail. Maybe he should say it in his own words. He says it better than I. You'd say, well, that can happen. Or two, yeah, maybe. But when everything fails perfectly, and it's the most valuable land in the United States per square inch, in that little town, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And some of these families are completely wiped away, and we're not hearing anything about them. The mainstream media is not asking where are the children. So joining us is Eric West of HawaiiRealEstate.org, MauiLFG.org, and I'm told by locals he's doing a great job actually getting aid to them. We have FEMA getting $1,000 a night rooms at the Four Seasons owned by Bill Gates. Hawaii's very expensive because the billionaires that have all moved there, over 100 of them. And the cheapest hotel's $200, $300 a night. $700 one-time payment for whole families. When almost $200 billion has been shipped to Ukraine. This is a sick joke, but it's really captured the soul of America and the world, and people are really having a big wake-up here. Biden refused in 4 different events for the first couple of weeks to even talk about it. Then he did show up. So to talk about the waterfront, and what really happened is Eric West, and we'll go through these videos. If you want to announce which one you want, we'll play them. We're getting the clip right now of them manhandling you. We just learned about that. They've done it to other reporters. We've seen the footage. But first, here's a short 2.5-minute compilation from a 30-something minute interview we did with Fish a couple other days ago. And again, Fish is somebody who's not from there. I call him a local, but he's a fixture. They all love him. And he's very respected. And he told us what he saw. He was the first voice that got out. Barely survived. But now we have the videos. It's all confirmed. They admit they left the power on. They admit they didn't give them the water. They admit they didn't trim the trees and brush. They admit they didn't activate the sirens. They admit they blockaded them inside. But here is what Fish said a few days ago with Eric West.
The only people survived were the ones that went through the barricade. It was a choreographed disaster. You know, the pattern of it is just too obvious. You know, not only were they blocking where I was at, the other end of town, I found out they had, the Maui Electric was trying to set the poles up during the wind, and they had the highway blocked off with that. And the lack of communication, the sirens not going off, the water not being used, I mean, you could go on and on. And then they're lying to us about the people and the children. That's why a lot of people have been contacting me, because they want to know what happened to the kids. Well, all you got to do is extrapolate. There's 3,001 students in Lahaina. 1,000 of them have been accounted for. They're going to either alternative schools or online. That's 2,000 children not accounted for. And I looked over at the policeman and I said, you know, what are you doing? He says, I'm just following orders. I said, there's a fire back there, you know? And he goes, well, I'm just following orders. And I'm wondering what is going on. Well, it's something probably anyone who's been on the internet for 30 years like I have knows that BlackRock and Vanguard are the owners of the Hawaiian Electric Company, where FEMA's staying at their $1,000 plus rooms is owned by Bill Gates. All the same names keep popping up. The sheriff who was involved with the Las Vegas debacle, he was here for 5 weeks. He wants a 29% increase in pay, and he's not only the police chief, but he's the coroner.
Right, and which is against the statute, right?
Against the statute, supposed to be law, but there it is. You know, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
So he's in charge as the coroner. Well, it's the same as Hunter Thompson, who wrote a book on George Bush, and he was very excited about getting it published. 2 days before it was getting published, he committed suicide by shooting himself in the head twice. The coroner put it out as a suicide. So.
In the same video, we'll play clips coming up. He witnessed them block the road out, and after they directed people into the town, the road out the other direction. So, who gave the orders? Eric West, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to try to give you the floor until we go to break in about 15 minutes to talk about what you've witnessed, what you've seen, the bizarreness of this, the ongoing obvious cover-up, how the people are responding. I've seen the different council meetings The Hawaiians are usually pretty calm and nice. They're hopping mad, both the people that are indigenous, but also folks that have now call Hawaii home. So you're right in the middle of it. You got a lot of courage to be going up against this system. Give us your breakdown.
First of all, thanks, Alex, for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I've been following you for years, and I just want to give you a shout out for what you've done as a patriot and for leading the charge in this thing. And everything that they said was a conspiracy has always seems to come true. And I want to get in front of this thing. So we'll talk about what's happened, but I really want to encourage your listeners to let's get into action here. Let's make this a call to action, not just to fellow patriots, but to the world, because I believe this is the beginning of something really bad, or it could be the beginning of something really amazing in terms of an awakening. And this is now on the world stage, and this needs to be played out in the world court, if you will, because there's people that died here that were from all different countries. And as you know, a lot of things become an issue as jurisdiction, and I don't believe this is no longer in the jurisdiction of Hawaii. I believe this is not even in the jurisdiction of the federal courts. I believe this is in the jurisdiction of the world, and the world needs to pay attention and needs to wake up. But I'll walk you through what's happened so far, and I could go through the colossal list of items that have gone wrong.
Please, you live there. Break it down.
Okay, the colossal list of everything that went wrong simultaneously, and I'm not here to point the finger at who or what. I'm just going to show you what we are seeing and what we've seen. But let's begin with the first thing, which is the total utter lack of communication that we've had on the west side of Maui. I'm here just north of the burn zone, north of Lahaina, very close. The fire came within a mile or two of my home. We've been evacuated 3 times. We've had fields set fire around my home. Just the other day, I went live with a fire that broke out just a few yards from my house spontaneously in the middle of the day. On that particular day, the alarms went off. Chinook helicopters came in. We got text messages. So it's almost like they're trying to show that they're competent now. But back when the big fire broke out, and there was multiple fires, it wasn't just a fire in Kula that broke out, but also a fire in Lahaina. But there was multiple different places where this thing broke out. On that particular day, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. For example, there was no sirens. Hawaii has the most sophisticated siren system. It did not go off. And they try to spin it by saying that we're trained as the people here to run uphill because it's a tsunami warning, but their own website says it's not. It's for emergencies. And when the alarm goes off, you're supposed to tune in to find out what the danger is and act accordingly. But to this day, they haven't retracted their statement that's saying it's for tsunamis only. Even if it was, people would not run uphill into a fire. So the sirens did not go off. The text messages, we receive text messages all the time for emergencies. Those text messages also were not sent out. And we were able to receive text messages throughout this entire breakdown of communication. Text messages always worked. We could never respond to them, but the text messages didn't go out. Water was not provided in the area of the fire. I have eyewitness accounts of people that came home that morning and they couldn't take a shower. They couldn't turn on their washer at home because there was no water. So the firemen had no water to fight this fire. And then they try to say it was because of some kind of water rights issue, which is ridiculous because either the water works or the water doesn't work. So why was the water turned off? That day at 4:30 in the morning, there was no power. Power was turned off on the entire west side of Maui. So later on in the day, you'll find out they were trying to redirect cars around down power lines as if the down power lines were dangerous because of electricity, but there's no electricity running through those down power lines. So they could have quickly, moved those poles or sawed them or done something, but instead you saw people getting corralled literally into the town of Lahaina in the direct path of the fire. And that is irrefutable. I have many accounts.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're the expert, but I've been following this very closely. Some of the main power lines out on the highway were turned off, but the particular power lines in the town, we've seen the footage, and they've admitted, even the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post, that indeed they left those on. We've seen those falling down and starting fires. So can you explain that to us?
Well, I can only go from what I've heard personally and when talking to people is that the power was lost at 4:30 the morning of the fire, 4:30 a.m. By other people that have reported that there were certain, there's websites where you can see where there was different pulsing through the electrical system, but we did not have any power. You know, a silver lining in all of this is because there was no power, the restaurants were closed that morning, the shops were closed that morning because no one could obviously, transact business. So, in a sense, that was a godsend because the Lahaina town wasn't full of all the normal hustle and bustle because there was no power that morning. There was definitely no cell communication. You could not call anybody. You could not get on the internet that morning. It was a complete communications blackout. And then on top of it, you have absolutely no support on the ground from people going door to door knocking or bullhorns. The people were warned by word of mouth. The only warning that they had with this blowtorch coming at them was word of mouth warning. Also, I noticed at 10:30 in the morning a massive black cloud of smoke that looked like the 9/11 towers. And so there was a small brush fire that occurred that morning, and a message went out for that saying 100% contained. So they actually put everybody at rest, saying that the fire was contained that morning. So there was even misinformation happening, trying to make people feel like they were safe when in fact they weren't. But the fact that people were guided into the fire and then got trapped and were going in circles in this small little Lahaina town, it's incomprehensible.
All right, I want to keep making your points, but let's walk through this. The government is now saying only some of the power was turned off. The Washington Post is reporting that it wasn't turned off. I'm not wedded to the idea that power lines did it, even though we have footage of power lines falling and causing fires and transformers blowing up. But clearly, something massive burned that town down. I've not poo-pooed directed energy weapons. I know they're real. Like one of the biggest bases of them is based in Maui. They could have drones go up and do it, and no humans could be involved other than those that launched the attack. But regardless, for folks that don't know, we'll pull up a map of Lahaina. They're in Maui. They're in western Maui, and describe the roads coming in for people. And what has now been confirmed that police blocked both sides of the main road. I guess that's Front Street coming through the town from the west and the east. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so if you look at a map, you'll see that there's basically two different highways. You have the bypass that comes down and dumps into the north. We're about the middle part of Lahaina. That's called the bypass. They just opened that, 4 or 5 years ago. And then you have the old highway, which is the Honopinilani Highway. And then on the other side of that, to the west of that, you have the town of Lahaina. And you've got a number of side streets, but you have Front Street, the world famous Front Street, that's sort of like the PCH. It runs right across up the coast. So ultimately, as people were trying to get in to just get through town, go around town, they tried to go up the bypass. They're trying to leave town. They got turned around. The bypass was closed, so you couldn't. So if you were leaving town, you just got turned right back around. If you tried to go south on the highway, you got turned. Everyone got routed into the town of Lahaina, and once you got into Lahaina proper, if you tried to leave to the north or to the south or any of the side streets, Ed Cheney, many different witnesses said that there was two police cars that would block that. The owners of Island Lock and Safe, they were just in my home the other day, they also basically testified to that everywhere you tried to leave, you just kept getting routed back into it under the guise of down power lines. However, looking at some of this footage, you can see there was a clear path to the north, there was a clear path to the south, and on top of it, the cars that were coming into Lahaina, they didn't block the traffic like, a mile or two away, preventing this. They had a small blockade, and they were allowing this traffic to come into Lahaina because people were trying to get to their kids, they're trying to get to their houses, they're concerned, but they were allowing essentially a traffic jam very close to the north end of Lahaina. And then on top of it, the people that were coming down to the south, they were getting routed into a neighborhood called Waikuli that later on burned but they weren't turning people around to go back to the north. They were putting them into another neighborhood that was getting ready to burn. So the traffic control during this disaster is incomprehensible, that there could be that level of incompetence, basically directing people into the path of something extremely dangerous, extremely hot burning, and just a force of nature that we've never seen before.
Now, we've still got about 5 minutes to break. Let's talk about something you just mentioned a few minutes ago. You live there on the edge of town, and where you're saying suddenly fires out of nowhere. There's no power lines, there's no people right around your house. And obviously, you're a very outspoken person. We have weird leftists showing up harassing reporters that are on The War Room with Steve Bannon. Other reporters are having weird Antifa type dudes in black show up. They know where they are, and they threaten them to stop covering it. We're going to show footage when we come back, you getting manhandled. There's a 12-mile exclusion zone. They're putting up big black divider fences up all around the town. They don't want people on record, even mainstream media, showing the damage. So something's being covered up here. You're there showing cars that are 100 yards from anything, even a fire, that are burned up. I mean, that does lean towards directed energy or something. I can't deny it. And so maybe it's a mix of these things. But you talked about arson. Here it is, BBC. Greece wildfires, 79 people arrested for arson. There's high winds, it's dry. They went and caught 79 people setting fires. And we know environmentalists just don't block roads like Extinction Rebellion. They don't just cut off our pipelines. They don't just put these big derailers on trains. They've been caught everywhere. When they get caught, like right during the election in 2000, they caught hundreds of arsonists setting fires on the West Coast. And the same thing, the utilities owned by BlackRock again, on average, they own, 98% of your utilities, or 96%. They won't trim back the trees now, but only in select areas, knowing it's going to happen. So here's footage of Greece, and people having to evacuate to the water, and the police have caught 79 people doing it. And they say in the Greece news, they say it's environmental groups doing it. So this is disgusting. So can you give us your view on that? And specifically go back and elaborate. We'll go to break and talk more about it, but on where you live, you got a couple places, you're blocked out of your house right now, you're somewhere else, and now folks know where you are, and magically fires are popping up right around you. I mean, let's walk through that.
Yeah, it's a real mystery. As a matter of fact, the most recent fire that broke out just a couple days ago was I live in an area called Ka'anapali, which is right above the hotels where they're housing all the survivors. And